What I discovered was that it jumps around by as much as 15 years in even the same carousel. So what we're going to do is we're going to see a history of the Landry family in the most disjointed manner possible. Which is quite appropriate if you think about it.
I think you're right.
So, diving into the middle here, not knowing where it will lead us.
Disjointed is us.
And Dorothy is supposed to follow through there.
You too.
This is all our years in the white sands. Oh, ooh, what is this?
This is our house in Florida at 100 North Ferry Avenue. Same thing.
The first house we ever owned. The first car we ever owned.
1959 we bought this.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
That was the year?
Yeah. And the outside walls were a turquoise color. Just matched our 56 Chevrolet color.
Right.
Both of which are washed out on these slabs.
I think there's some better ones later on.
Oh, cute.
So this must be inside the house, huh? Yeah, it is.
Must be.
There's 3 boys, but we didn't like Tim, so he wasn't in the picture.
Oh, I thought that was wallpaper, but that's a folding closet door.
He got my ear.
Well, yeah.
It's a very cute ear.
Even my ear isn't in the video.
Oh, we missed there too. Pat was holding his cast for the Friendly Ghost.
Yeah.
With the psychedelic cover.
Which had to be recovered because it got so dirty. But
There's the marble race. We still have that here in 1992.
That.
Those are the bunk beds that Tim... Who slept in those? Tim and Pat or Terry and...
Yeah, Tim and Pat. Terry was too little. Bought those in Panama City, I think. You and Billy got them.
And just why did you
That's
guys take
Terry's
pictures
bed.
of these furnishings?
That's Terry's bed there.
Hospital bed.
It was just a single bed with the
Just to keep them
rails.
from falling out.
Terry and his sister Belle. Oh, and a cash register in the back too. I think these walls were a bright blue.
What is that pattern on the curtains, do you remember?
Clowns,
It's like
isn't it?
clowns.
I expect it is. Oh, Eglin.
What
Back
kind of planes
road.
are those? Are those all B-52s?
Yeah, I think so. Well, B-52s and probably B-47s combined.
Wow.
They used to come across with a B-47 and drop bombs, and they'd go boom, 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 boom.
Tonic boom.
And then they would come across with the B-36s, and
Pedro and Pancho.
from before you could see them till after you couldn't see them, there was a continuous boom, 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 boom.
Who are these people, Mom?
Daddy is to the right, and that's Tim and Pat, Pedro and Pancho.
How cute.
Out at Eglin.
And Terry is in the buggy.
That's a British plane, I believe.
This was back a few years then from those previous pictures.
No, I think it was the same day. They had a display.
Not
No,
if
no,
Morty was in the buggy.
not if Morty was in a buggy.
That is the
That's
X-15,
it,
I
correct.
believe, under that wing there.
Oh, cool.
Remember that X-15 plane?
Yeah, that was the one that...
I'm pretty
Oh,
sure
wow.
There it is. Yeah, Chuck,
And there's
Chuck
Bob.
Yeager, you're right.
And there's
Look at me, I
Dorothy.
was thin.
You were.
I had just had Terry. He's in a baby buggy along here or something. No, that's Terry there, isn't it?
No,
That's Pat.
That looks like Terry.
he was in the buggy on the previous slide.
Thunderbirds! F-100s, I think. One of the pilots.
He's an old man
Lynn
now.
Tony from Channel 3 in Pensacola.
He was my idol.
He used to do, you ain't nothing but a hound dog. He had, there's Terry. No, that's Tim.
Oh, who is
Tim.
that handsome devil?
That's Tim, just before Pat was born.
What house?
89 Pine Avenue, Fort Walton Beach.
That was
We lived there while we were, no, that, I was thinking, I'm mistaken, I forget that one.
first place we lived after we got out of the army.
Yeah. Actually, it was a duplex. That's Morty Dodd, ain't he sweet? Now this house is
Hasn't
on,
changed a bit. Still looks the same.
is on Merle Circle. That's the backyard. It was a nice big yard there. And that's the house on Merle Circle. We lived there while waiting to get into our house on Ferry Avenue. That's Pat.
Back on Pine Street again.
Yeah, that's 89 Pine. Same place for Tim. I believe that's the Holy Roller Church over there behind us. We had one right next door to us.
Aw.
Dorothy had long hair then.
Oh, that's real long.
Pretty
She
yucky.
also put out quite a diaper wash.
Yeah, this is when Pat was a baby and Tim was a baby. I had two in diapers.
We were quite productive.
Oh, look, Tim in his rocking chair. Little belly button sticking out. This is still on Pine Avenue.
You had an Audi.
For a while.
Now I
did.
drive a Toyota.
Ha ha.
Pretty heavily furnished place we got there.
Yep.
We did well to have any furniture. That's on the beach at Fort
Throw
Walton.
the ball, Tim.
What a sports figure I turned out to be.
Oh, my three
Who are
boys
those
in
dudes?
front of a little magnolia tree.
Oh yeah. Look at
Harry was about, he had his first birthday at that house, so he's probably about 11 months old.
Little boys that
Yeah.
yeah.
Tim had gotten
I was gonna
into
say-
my lipstick, and so I put this bandana on him.
He says,
Recently
"Mama
I've gone
Barbie
back
portrait."
into the closet.
Ready for Sunday school. That's still on Pine Avenue. Farmer Tim.
I sure like this photo. I don't know why.
I do too. This is about the time Pat was born. That's Uncle Billy.
Oh.
And this is in Shalimar, in the backyard.
Yeah,
Tim, you look so happy.
which is where we moved after Pine Avenue.
Almost as happy as Birdie.
Yeah.
Billy was in high school
Peekaboo.
at that time.
Oops. On the video you can't see it. Believe it or not, folks, that's Morty. There he is.
Tim, that's not our place, but it looked the same on Pine Avenue. Mama. And the old Studebaker,
Cool.
her garage apartment there in Hammond.
I got this focused again.
Oh, okay.
I helped build that garage apartment. Jim Madison did most of it. And I helped put subflooring and hang windows.
That's when I was off playing in the Army, shirking my duties at home.
What did I name that doll? Pete, huh?
Pete.
Yeah.
Me and my old pal Pete.
I don't have him anymore, I don't believe.
She made that all by herself.
He told me he fell apart. Those guys again.
Cute.
Looks like Philip, Nathan, and Joseph.
Yeah.
Look at the sandals.
Mm-hmm.
Except for Terry. He's too silly looking like he just.
A little chunkier than Joseph, too.
Looking for fleas.
Were you really?
No.
Getting sand out of his hair.
You'd be surprised.
Did you put it in?
That's
My mother and
That's
Tim.
Preston's mother, yes.
Oh.
That
And
house
that-
in the back is Jerry's house, which was just across the lot from the house that I was raised in.
Oh, that's on Ferry Avenue. That old Christmas tree.
Those are our first bikes.
Fresh off the aluminum forest.
Yeah. we had the spotlight and the color wheel
Yeah.
going around.
Yeah, you couldn't put lights on most.
Carol May was there with us.
I didn't remember that the wise men were that old.
If you look carefully,
No,
there's
that's
two
a
goons
different
in the
one.
win-
I
in
made
the
new ones.
doorway.
Yeah.
What are they
Too
wearing?
many kids being
It's
in the
like
screen
angel
door there,
suits.
too, isn't there?
Jams to me.
This is Watkins Glen, New York.
My.
Hey, you were warned.
That's just him and Terry look like.
It's in a cat
Must be
there.
This is Niagara
Falls.
Falls. Well, upstream from it or downstream, whichever.
Looking away from it anyway.
Back to Christmas tree, huh?
Deja vu. Gee, Mom, you don't look too unhappy there.
Still at Niagara Falls. I got to go to Niagara Falls, remember?
Oh yeah, that's right.
I said I wasn't going home when we lived in Ithaca. I wasn't going home till I saw Niagara Falls.
Yeah,
Because we were just half a day's drive.
sure.
There we
There's
are.
Mom and two of the boys. Where's the third one?
Evacuated.
There he is.
About to jump in.
Hanging over the fence.
Three little
Oh.
cherubs.
That's our bed.
Yeah, what are we doing in your bed?
I don't know.
Sleeping apparently.
Just checking.
Oh, this must be a
Parade.
Five Flags or something.
Festival of Five Flags, Pensacola, Florida.
Yeah,
Don't know the year. It's got to be late 50s, early 60s.
yeah. I believe Paul Harvey was the Grand Marshal that year. Well, this is somebody's birthday, evidently. And I believe that's on Merle Circle. I'm not sure. No, that's Ferry Avenue. That's Phyllis Button. Her husband died a couple years ago. She's a friend up in Minnesota.
Hmm.
She lived with Barnums down in Hammond while I was working. She was good friends with Harry and Thelma Geckler.
Mm-hmm.
I think we cut that tree ourselves, don't you? Or is that that's at my mama's house.
Yeah,
This is my mother's last Christmas is what this is.
told you we jumped around.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
Must be Louisiana then, rather than
Yeah.
Florida.
Yeah, it is.
Or New York.
I don't remember the
This is
exterior
when
of
all
this
of y'all
house
had the measles.
at all.
Went over to Hammond and gave them to all of Lois's kids.
Good.
But it was my mama's last Christmas. Oh man, that's his washable
What
suit.
a hunk.
Suit looks bigger than you do.
You know, it's awfully tough to see pictures of your father when he looks younger than you are.
Oh, that dairy on the picnic table that Preston built.
Must have been Easter time.
You get that impression.
He's
don't
got
you?
on shoes, you notice.
Yep.
Why is that unusual?
You had these little thongs all the time. There I am.
She's sweet.
Even had on a hat.
Hey,
This is on the patio on Ferry Avenue.
Easter Sunday, it looks like.
Yep.
It was. That's about the time Teddy died too, I believe, our dog.
Yep. In fact, it was that day.
The Madisons.
Mary Helen, Jim, and 6 kids.
Mike, Ruth, Rebecca, Betsy, Benny, and Johnny.
And that's it.
Yeah.
Johnny's the baby, right?
Yeah. Oh, Mama and Aunt Grace at the old Happy Woods Church.
Pensacola.
That might have been. Oh,
Oh, I
this
can
is
see the
Hoover
Hoover
Dam.
Dam.
This is Hoover Dam. Oh, I hated that place. It was so hot. Even at dark, it was 101.
Yeah.
I said, let's get out of here. Oh, this is a vacation trip to Colorado, I think.
Yep. I think so.
I believe not the Mississippi, the Colorado River starts up there.
Right.
This is about where
That
it
is
begins. Up west of Denver somewhere.
Oak Creek Pass.
This is when Preston had, this is Seven Falls. This is when Preston had a business trip to the Bureau of Standards in Boulder. And we made a family vacation out of it, and that's when I learned to appreciate Colorado.
This must be a drive up some big mountain. That's looking out over Boulder.
Yeah. Flatirons, I think, outside Boulder. Rocks. Well, see, we lived down on the Gulf Coast. We didn't know what rocks were. What's her name? Steen. Marvin Steen's wife, whatever her name is. And that's their
And he was a
family.
business associate of y'all's, Paul?
Yes, they were there on the same business trip we were. Stayed in the same motel.
All I remember was that kid was a criminal.
Which
What?
one?
The
The
red
The one in
boy?
the red sweater.
The boy? I didn't think
I
so.
think his name was Dean.
I don't know.
Probably.
I don't know. But there's the old 56 it was back there. We went on a picnic with the Steens here. This would be in Boulder Canyon.
Yep.
The rushing water and stuff.
Who were those guys?
Isn't that sweet? Kind of faded.
I think they're just overexposed.
Now this is a reservoir. They didn't used to be that white.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Tell me another one.
blame me rather than the picture.
I picked up a piece of driftwood there and I still have it. Hauled it down to Florida and brought it back. I don't remember what reservoir that is, but it was up around Boulder.
I think that's the end of this one.
The Stars and Stripes Forever.
Pat directing the band in high school.
He took them at a fast clip. Oh, Mama Squirrel or Little Sister, I don't know which. Candy.
They call my baby.
That's in this house.
Yeah, that's in Colorado.
Football game.
Wasn't that Pat marching in a,
Oh, it was halftime up at Broncos
Broncos
Stadium.
game.
Yeah.
So Ferdy was in the marching band.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, who are these?
That's the brass ensemble.
Oh,
At the
yeah,
Denver
Todd
church.
Teskey and
uh-huh.
John Flug's little brother, and they're there in the Denver church.
Dig them pants.
It's
That's
Amy.
Amy.
Sleeping with her glasses on. Thumb in her mouth. That's my girl.
This is
Mom, it's
prob-
hard to imagine your house like that. It's so different from what it is now.
Yeah, look at me.
Shag haircut.
We have thousands of Christmas trees, all look the same in the same spot. This is the Landry reunion. Mama wanted to have a family reunion as we were headed up toward Colorado.
1966.
Cool.
I was expecting Amy at the time. Oh,
That's Debbie.
is that Billy's car back there?
I think this is at Ellis's joint, ain't it? Wait a minute.
I don't
That-
think so.
Isn't that Steve Guillory? In the white shirt?
It looks like him,
Right.
but it looks more like it might be at Pawpaw's house. I'm not sure.
Might be. Maybe we'll find out.
There's
but
the
not
Landry
right now.
family reunion again. I could name some of them, but not all of them.
You
just
couldn't
some.
see him on video anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, it must be Papa's house.
That's Robin.
Yep.
And who's the little one?
Her younger sister, what's her name?
No, she doesn't have a younger
I
sister.
think it's
Carrie.
Billy's daughter, isn't it?
It must. No. Billy's daughter wasn't born then.
Was it Uncle Brother's kid?
I don't think so. Now that's Karen to the right there behind Terry, and Robin, and Tim back in the back with the slingshot. And I
Nigger
had-
shooter, dear.
Okay. But
The
I don't,
mystery kid.
I'm trying to figure out where that is.
It's behind Papa's house.
Is it? Okay. But who? That is Belinda. Because that's Chucky holding her, isn't it?
Okay, yeah.
That is Belinda. Oh, fun.
And this is their studious look.
See, that's the color of our house there on Ferry Avenue. Yeah, that's
It's the
Belinda.
mystery kid. Return of the mystery kid.
Belinda doesn't even speak to her parents. That's Darlene and Buddy, I believe.
And could be.
I know it's Darlene. Sweet little things, Tim, Pat, and Terry.
All matching shirts.
There's my wheelbarrow back there. Still got that thing in the same position. Cute little boys.
Oh, I just feel it there look like that. Wow.
Here we are back at Papa's house.
I think this one's floppy. We're a bunch of goofballs.
Now this is my daddy there, and I guess
Where?
that's
No, he's not in this shot.
Yes,
Isn't
he
it?
is on the left.
That's
I don't
Uncle
think
Brother.
Is that Uncle
Is
Brother?
it?
And then there's Frank, and then it looks like Ellis.
It is Ellis.
Uncle, brother.
Alice and Laura are sitting in the back there.
Yes, Bunny, Uncle Brother.
Is that his name?
Nope.
Charles. But he was always brother to me.
There were so
That's
many
Ellis
of them
and
they couldn't
Laura.
remember his name.
And that's Colleen there, and then me.
Need a flash, Dad. Them again.
Cute. Now that's my daddy and Vidalia. Too bad you can't see it. Back to Colorado.
There's my best side.
Oh, Aunt May, that's my mother's sister in Shreveport.
She didn't like me taking all those pictures.
Actually, this is about the time I was still in maternity clothes with Amy. We were traveling to and from Colorado.
This is Virginia Conference.
That's Gigi. Gigi Landry.
And what is her relationship to us?
Uncle Gordon's daughter. Yeah, that's Virginia Conference.
Any idea what year?
Oh. I think Amy was like 18 months old on that trip.
I think I was 12.
That's about right. That we went back to visit one time in Fort Walton, and this is the way our house looked then, several years after we
Since
left.
the 68 has its nose in this picture, this has to be a post-1968 picture.
We're over at Burnett's house.
Well, it's a lot different now. Who dat?
I don't even know.
A member of the Virginia congregation.
This
Pat and
is
Terry. Nerdism sure runs in the family, doesn't it?
Quit laughing, Bonnie.
Mr. Montera and the Palmer High School band. There's the squirrel again. Back to Pat. More Virginia Conference. That's some of Dale Ramsey's brothers.
Yeah, they're all Ramsey brothers.
All got the mouth open looking for flies.
Oh, who's that one? I think that might be their father
I think so.
and their mother. There's Cecil
Oh, yeah.
and Joe Fletcher.
Cecil who, dear?
Cecil Smead. We were talking about him last night. It's the reason I said it that way. Oh, me. I don't know who that is, but I think it's Billy's son, Mark.
I think it
It's a
is
baby.
It's Mark. Back to Virginia.
That's all the
That's
Ramseys.
the Ramsey family, yeah. There's Cecil again, but I don't know the rest of them.
too.
Ooh.
Lightning.
That's Florida Beach.
That's on the beach at Fort Walton.
You get down, Dad. Yeah.
I think this is out in the... That's my brother Charles, I believe.
Yeah, that's the backyard at your dad's house.
Back to
Back to
Virginia
Virginia.
Conference, Joe Fletcher's, there's Debbie, see? Joe Fletcher's family.
Debbie Fletcher, that is.
That's
Uncle Gordon.
Barbara and Gordon there.
And Barbara.
And I think that's a Ramsey there too.
Is that
No,
Dorothy
it
and
isn't.
Amy to the left?
Sure is.
With her thumb in her mouth.
Well, Dorothy, get your thumb out of your mouth.
Mary Helen and Ellen Ramsey. Back to Papa's house. It's Ellis eating there. More Virginia Conference.
I had lots of time on that trip, I reckon.
Sure did. Aunt Eleanor at Papa's house. Some of Lois's girls. That's the Guillory grandchildren.
Oh, yeah?
Uh-huh. Chucky and Karen, Pat and Darlene, Francis Ann on the left. I think that's Debbie next to Karen in the back, and that'd be Kathy down in the front. And who's the other one?
Probably Rodman.
I guess so.
But look over at the right edge, peeking through from the next frame. It's Darlene.
Oh, isn't that sweet of Mary Helen?
That is.
And Barbara and me and Amy. That's David and Benny to the left.
Mm-hmm.
What's that, Benny?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's been.
Good focus.
Oh, this is the Fry's in Fort Walton Beach in our living room, I believe.
Not our living room. I think it's Grandma Cook's living room.
Maybe so.
Maybe the Fry's living room. I don't know. But we never had a door like that.
You're right.
Oh, that's, what's his name, Smead. Cecil's son. Back to Papa's house. Back to Virginia. That's Karen Young. I don't know what her name is now. Amy. She didn't have much hair, did she?
Unlike some of us.
See
There
how our
she is
yard
again.
used to
See?
be?
See the bird in the back?
Like a pheasant.
Robin there. That's in the living room here.
Love that carpet.
I was glad to get rid of that stuff.
That old table's in the furniture room.
But the stereo's still there in the same spot.
Sure is.
Tell you one thing, back here, it's sure a lot easier to mow. There wasn't nothing in the way.
Look at the trees. There's Amy. I made that little coat for her.
Oh boy,
This is
there's
before
that
we...
athletic Homer again.
Look at that apple tree. See how it's grown now?
She has
She looks just like Terry. Look at that. Just like Terry's baby
Anyway,
pictures.
she's doing her imitation of Alfred Hitchcock.
Yeah.
Terry and Amy. It is Terry. Not.
No. It's Amy. I used to grow sweet peas on the fence there. See your chair? Getting ready to get in the tub. I painted the jug.
What is so darn funny, kid?
She'd be embarrassed to tears to see that. This is the way the house looked when we bought it.
Wonder who that is on the lawn. Dorothy and Amy?
Probably.
Are they in focus? No.
There she is. Oh, the pansies were pretty, weren't they? gosh, back to
Still
Pat.
leading that same band.
Oh, that's a plaque with all of the outstanding band student of the year or something, and Pat Landry's name is down
He's
there.
on the bottom.
Put
I
one
don't-
each year apparently.
Yeah.
Nothing up a storm.
Well, I think we're back to the beginning of this here roll. Hold on a second. Fort Pickens.
That's when you were sick and couldn't come with us, and we left you home by yourself.
Moi?
Yes, I was so upset because towns were supposed to look after you and they didn't.
Harumph.
I remember you held a sign up to the window so they could see it. Come play with me or something like that.
I couldn't have been that literate.
This was a Boy Scout outing for Pat.
Oh,
We were
really?
supposed to go see, that's that fella Dave Court and somebody else. They were in the Air Force, but Dave lives in Colorado Springs now. We run into him every once in a while.
He works at the post office down on UND Street.
I couldn't. See, this is Fort Pickens State Park. We were supposed to take a tour of the aircraft carrier Antietam, was it?
Don't remember.
And it was out at the time. Not very good planning on the scout people's part. Oh, this is Aunt Elvie's trailer.
Yes, the
That's-
Alexander girls.
That's Uncle Terry's wife, Bertie, on the left, Aunt Teen, Mama, and Aunt Elvie. I think this is back to Pensacola.
I see somebody in a Cub Scout uniform. Does that mean anything?
Should.
I wonder if this was posed. Uh-oh. Oh no! Casualties, casualties.
Been a birthday. There's the tree that the muscadine vine grew on. And look, there's a tree planted to the left. That's the one that's so big in that snapshot that Pat has.
I guess.
I think it's an elm tree is what I think it
I
is.
don't remember it being there.
I'm sure I must have planted it.
Probably you always plant trees.
Wherever we go, I plant trees. That's the same tree there. And Dave Court again.
Well, but what's
And
interesting
tennis courts.
yeah, I was
Bleh.
looking at the park over there that
And
used to
the
be
road.
in Nirvana.
It's before they paved the road.
Took out all the good trees.
Only big trees they had. Oh, the Thayers up in Ithaca.
They lived upstairs, we lived downstairs.
Ann and June and Randy and Lena and Al. Back to Aunt Elvie's.
Is that the dog snoring or Hilda?
I think it's here, but she hasn't said anything. I wonder if we should put a blanket over her. It's a little cool. That's Fort Pickens again. All you see is my back.
I bet this
Okay,
is flop.
there's Joe Ree. No, that's Kathy Lukawecki and Joyce's daughter, whatever her name is.
Joe Ree is in there. Center dark.
Yeah, in the
by
back
19.
is Joe Ree. It's not the one I was looking at.
I like Terry's expression.
Yeah, do I have to do this? Back to Fort Pickens. Mama and Dave. I don't need this. She does. Okay. I wish we had organized these a little bit. Oh, that dog's name was Ipana. Because she had a toothy grin. She got sprayed by a skunk one time and came to our door for us to let her in.
We didn't.
Oh man, what a smell. I still have a sensitivity to skunk from that episode.
She's smiling here.
Look at the three boys though. Back to Fort Walton with this billboard in the background.
Wow, when did they take that out? What did it say?
I think it was for the housing development.
There used to be a woodpecker peck, 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 peck on the middle of that sign.
Yes.
You see, the yard is not in yet. I think that's pretty much ryegrass. This is a birthday party, but I don't know whose.
Mine be Tim's because he's in the center.
And that's the fellows' kids too.
Isn't that my 5th birthday? Something like that.
Should be more than that. 59. Must be because we bought that house in 59. Uh-oh.
Is that me or Terry?
That's Terry.
Guess we shouldn't say bad things about him.
Look,
These
Tim.
two, I discovered these 2 pictures. This is in my apartment when I was in college. And it's actually really great.
That's when you first grew your beard.
Guess so. What is this?
That must be Maureen, huh?
Mom's back. Yeah.
Who's tortoise here?
Looks like it's up near Deckers.
Oh,
Is it
Amy and Joey, maybe?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, that's who that is. That's Joey. Playing in the hose. See the tree? Wait. Can you go back? See my ash tree?
It's a
See
little
it?
smaller there. There's a horse way up on top of that ridge.
That must be why I took the picture.
I think so. Oh, Maureen's wedding dress.
Oh, it's
And the
boring.
old dining room set.
Oops.
Seeing double.
Double exposure. Oh, Tim.
Your most favorite guy.
Guy.
What's his name?
Huey.
Huey. You were rather thin, Tim.
Yeah, I look good.
They looked a little too thin.
These are great. What are these doing here? What, another one? Well, at least these slides are integrated. Wow,
Congratulations.
I told you we bounced around a bit.
Kindergarten graduation.
That's what, 20 years?
From college to kindergarten.
Whose is it? Is it yours or Pat's?
I don't know. I bet
I
it's
think you're
mine.
second from the right in the front. Now this is it. My mama and daddy's house. That's Freddie Barrera in the blue shirt in the back, and Margaret Ann was expecting Ricky at the time, I think. That's Buddy and his father, Big Boy. Both of those 2 men are dead now. That's me in the shorts, I think.
Lost in the foreground.
Thank you.
Uh-uh. Is that Lois? Or, I thought it was Margaret Ann.
I think it's Lois.
Oh yeah,
She
because
doesn't have red
that's her child and husband.
Hey, I remember that stool.
They're making
Didn't we
ice
have
cream,
that
huh?
stool?
Hmm? Oh. Yeah, it was made out of willow. Ask Janet Fellows, I believe.
I think so.
That's at the back door of under North Ferry and football.
That looks like Pat. Oh man. She's got on training
Well, I
pants.
guess we're gonna have to tilt up to see this. This is Uncle Morty.
Kindergarten
Wow.
graduation, I haven't found who it is yet.
This is Pat's, I think.
Straight out of Leave It to Beaver, whatever it is.
It looks like that might be Pat right at her elbow. Let's see.
Valedictorian in the middle.
Oh, this is
Now, this
downtown.
demonstrates the true use for cannons. They are not for aggression. They are not for defense. They are for riding.
Sitting on, yes. This is at a park downtown in Pensacola.
My 3 sons.
This was a shopping trip.
Back to my 5th birthday.
Yay.
I remember waking up. I was down for a nap, and I got up from the nap, and this party was going on.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Without you?
Well, yeah.
Not hardly.
And I had a teepee and everything.
Okay. I never got a TP from
We
that.
tried.
Look at all those nifty trees back there that they bulldozed out. Looks like Terry doing his thing.
How come Terry didn't have a shirt on?
It looks like he killed somebody.
Well, it's cowboys and Indians. What do you expect?
Oh, sorry.
Oh, he had a lollipop.
Oh, I thought that was a cigarette.
What are you doing, showing your muscle?
It must be.
I don't remember all those kids' names. That was a Humphrey boy to the left there. He liked my peanut brittle when it came out green.
Class of '62.
That's Pat, isn't it?
I have to. Wait a minute.
Yeah, you'd be 7. That's kind of late to graduate from kindergarten.
That's Pat getting his diploma.
So he would have been 6, huh?
But they learned phonics. That little old gal was a good teacher.
They didn't have public kindergartners back then?
Mm-mm.
No, that was before they were invented.
We paid for that, but I think it's worth it.
See the clown cake?
That's neat.
Now, whose is that?
And that looks like a machine gun, Dad, is it?
Sure looks like it.
And it looks like it shoots caps, too.
Yeah.
Cool.
Looks like 2 candles.
That must be Terry's.
I don't know where that is. There we are again. He was clean. Oh, what's that?
That's the
That's
Bing
your-
Theater at the University of Southern California.
That's graduation day, isn't it?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Boy,
You're in there somewhere.
you guys gotta be nuts. Show up for this mob.
The Grand Canyon.
God. Where's Amy?
Amy says, you seen one, you seen them all.
But she's still taking a picture there.
And actually looking out. Who must have threatened her?
She's hanging under the fence like you boys used to do.
Well, if they wouldn't build the fence so stupid.
It is kind of crazy, isn't it? There's Candy. Our dogs are well traveled.
So are our cameras. Well, oh, that's exciting. Ooh, that's cool.
Rocks. Yeah! On his back. Oh, this is the Four Corners.
So Amy's standing in 4 states at once.
Uh-huh.
Candy's got 1 paw in each.
That looks like it. Utah, Colorado, New Mexico, and Arizona, is it?
Something like that.
Yeah,
Look at those plants.
I think they're pretty.
Flowers.
My tulips right out the back door there. Oh, this is Mesa Verde Indian housing.
What were you doing there?
Touristing.
Amy wanted to go to Mesa Verde. I don't know where we were on the way to, I guess.
It was as if all of those buildings were in miniature. The Indians must have been quite small.
There's some miniature people standing alongside of them.
Where'd that?
This is all in Colorado on the Mesa Verde trip. I don't know where we were going. That's across. That's looking at Pikes Peak.
But back you can see what was interesting about Pikes Peak.
Well, Pikes Peak isn't in that photo.
Mm-hmm.
It's hidden in the clouds.
But that's it.
It's peeking through.
Rayed.
Yeah,
They're vivid, aren't they? It was kind of clean then. We need to clean it up again.
That's not their for that carousel.
Available, they take their truck, water truck out to a mud puddle and fill it and come back and
7
spray it up
miles
and get it
away.
about halfway up the side of the building.
This was in Ithaca, I believe.
Nope,
Nope.
that's the ocean behind us, Mom. It's washed out.
Oh, okay. Another birthday here. Looks like it must be Terry's. Is that Terry
Why?
or
That's
Pat?
Pat.
Is that Pat? It's hard to tell. Oh, that's Richard Dick. He used to come spend Thanksgiving with us. He and Mama would drive from Hammond to our house a half a day and have dinner and spend the night and go home.
He was the pastor of the Happy Woods Church at the time.
Back to Pat's birthday. Oh, another Christmas.
What is that big box for there?
That's
Looks like it might be a snow cone machine. Nope, that's Casper the Friendly Ghost.
oh. He's washing dishes.
Pat washing dishes.
Where?
There, 100 Ferry Avenue.
Somebody got a guitar that year.
Who's this, Mom?
No. Oh, that's Cousin Ruth. That's Aunt May's daughter.
Must be Shreveport then.
Must be.
Aunt May and Mama.
Is this Terry or is this Amy? Your guess is
Yes,
as good as
indeed.
ours.
It has to be Terry according to this one.
What a family.
What a face on that husband.
I like to look on Terry.
The boy's hair was combed.
It must have been warm that day.
I think this must be my favorite picture
That's
of my
it.
father.
That-
Really?
I believe that's in
It
Shalimar.
shows the true you, Dad.
Yeah.
I say that's in Shalimar. That's Terry.
So the answer to today's trivia question is, it's Terry. Now the question is, of that family grouping
Is
back
Sheila-
there, who took it?
Probably my mother.
Probably.
Oh, that's Corma and Jean, I believe, isn't it?
You tell me, Mom.
I think
It's in
so.
Shreveport,
That's a
wherever
good
it is.
guess.
Well, Ruth didn't have a husband.
No modesty whosoever.
Oh, it's Skyline Morning.
What makes
It's a
it?
2220.
Is that my birthday? I bet it is. Now, what house is this? This must be Shalimar.
I think so.
No, not Shallow. Well, I don't know.
And the windows don't look.
I
Look
think
like-
those are louvered windows.
I think it
Like
might be
Ferry
Merle
Avenue.
Circle. I don't know. Back to Ruth. Sweet.
Ride the horsey.
Well, what house is this then, Dad?
Ferry Avenue.
Is it?
No. Mm-mm.
It either is or it isn't.
We didn't have blinds at Ferry Avenue, for one thing.
We didn't. So that's not Ferry Avenue.
I think it's Merle Circle.
Wrong again.
Well, now we know who took that other picture.
Mama holding Terry. Now that's Shalimar,
Sure does.
and that's Terry. Probably shortly after he was born, he was almost 10 pounds. Now,
Who dat?
I thought that was Amy, but I don't think so.
I think that's Tim.
I think that's Terry.
I think it's Terry.
It's Pat.
No, I think it's Terry and Shalimar. It's not Pat.
Yeah, look at how cheesy that bathroom is, or that wall and mirror is.
Yep, Jean and Corme and Ruth in Shreveport. This is in Shalimar, and that's Terry. That's a kudzu vine.
Really?
Mhm.
Well, I guess that house isn't there anymore, is it?
Why?
Kudzu probably took it down.
You're right. It does take over. That's in the backyard at Shalimar. Miss Respus's yard is on the other side. That's Terry. Momo. Terry.
Where's the rest of us?
We
Well,
were-
there's one of us.
We were getting ready to go. I say that's Terry, it might be Pat. I think it is. That's Pat. Getting ready to go to church. And that other one. Yep, those are Pat. That's Pine Avenue.
He growed up quick.
Easter on Ferry Avenue.
Again.
That looks like Nathan, doesn't it?
Yep, Nathan looks just like him.
Oh, he doesn't.
Yes, he does.
Philip looks more like Pat than Nathan does.
Philip looks more like Buddy Effort.
Oh, no, that's true.
It's the Gordon's family. Ricky, Danny, and David.
And was that Jim Madison coming down the stairs?
Must be with Benny.
Likely.
That's Debbie Effler.
She was ugly.
She really had an Audi. This is the old Happy Woods Church. That's Paul Anthony in the door. Diane and Carol May and Billy and Lynn.
Probably.
That's Stevie Ledoux and Tim. They have the same birthday, a year apart. Aunt Grace and Debbie Bloomquist at Happy Woods Church.
Who's in the car?
Somebody.
Looks like Ellen Anthony, but I'm not sure. Now Sylvia and I were both expecting at that time. Back to Gordon. That's Carol May and Tim out at my folks' house out where at Tennis Midland's house. My pawpaw and
Your
Billy.
father and Tim's pawpaw.
Yeah.
Norton!
There's Papa and Tim. You had a seizure about that time, Tim.
That's what I'm told.
And you know
Bonnie.
what it was from?
That's your great-grandfather, Bonnie. The one I'm growing up to look like.
You had a seizure from hookworm.
I've just been a load of diseases all my life.
Hookworm. Terry. That's on Merle Circle. Another birthday cake. I sure baked a lot of cakes, didn't I?
Yeah, who ate them?
This is on Merle Circle, too.
Did my share.
Oh, good.
I think that might be Terry's first
That
birthday.
explains why you're not so skinny no more.
Yeah.
Oh, this is at Joe Murray's house. It's Gladys Murray to the right. It was her daughter's or somebody's birthday. That's the car hood.
Art, Dad, art.
I thought it was a lake.
That's Harry and Thelma Geckler and their two kids, Sylvia and Dennis. Ooh, he's walking!
He's
Fun.
Looks about the same to me. Yep, there's 10 of them down there.
Ready to go to Sunday school.
Right.
Tim and Pat.
Again. Who took this?
Joe Murray, I think.
He lived in the unit behind us.
And is there no Terry at this point?
Nope. This is when Pat was just new.
And this is Merle Circle?
No, Pine Avenue.
I know.
That's Merle
I
Circle.
knew me and Beaver had something in common.
What?
Beaver lived on 211 Pine Avenue.
Did he?
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot that.
What was our sequence of housing places?
That's Terry's first steps there, y'all.
Golly.
Still got the bookshelf. Billy made that bookshelf in school for me.
There was Pine Avenue. Did we go from there to Merrill Circle or Shalimar?
Shalimar.
I thought so.
And the Shalimar house was sold from under us. Now that's Aunt Grace
So we
and
moved to
Aunt
Merle
Jean and
Circle.
Aunt Elvie and Mama. They came to visit us in Fort Walton on Ferry Avenue. And I gather that's Terry.
We moved to Merrill Circle while this house was being finished,
Mm-hmm.
and then moved into it.
And look, there's no houses behind it yet.
Yeah, it was new. These ladies are all sisters. Sweet, sweet ladies.
So why were they hanging around with us?
Oh, they were so happy to come and visit us. I
Why?
always made them look at your pants, Tim.
Yeah.
No wonder I look so upset.
But look at Terry, how cute.
Why did they want to schlep all the way to Florida?
That was a nice trip for them.
Oh, was it?
Sure.
These days we can't get friends to schlep across town.
Oh, I loved having them come. I loved all those ladies. They were just very sweet. There's our eating counter. Pat says they tore that out.
It was very handy. We still have those stools.
Yep.
I was gonna say, isn't there one of the stools over there?
Right.
Yep.
Next to the wall?
No, those push
Oh,
button
there's
lights.
syrup
kids-
there.
Yeah, Alaga syrup.
I like the
Made
cups.
in Alabama, Georgia.
There's Pawpaw again. And my mama's hair to the left.
Really? You ever
In a-
together on this
In a
trip?
bun, uh-huh.
Cool. You don't have any good pictures of her.
Nope.
Is that a coconut in that wheelbarrow back there?
Well, it looks like it.
God.
Still got the wheelbarrow, but it's falling apart. I want to fix it. Oh, there's Big Boy. And Lois holding,
One of them.
it's one of ours.
Might be Terry.
I think it must be.
I look older than 3 though.
It might be one of her own, but I think it's one of ours. That's Mama's knee there. There's Margaret Ann holding Pat. Expecting Ricky. And that's Freddie. She always denied that he was Mexican. She said, no, he's Spanish. That's the Madison's Christmas at Mama's house.
Cool.
Jim's got Benny on his knee, Johnny's down in front, then there's Mike and Betsy and that's Ruth. And Mary Helen and then Rebecca and Betsy. And Pat.
The one on the right isn't Rebecca.
The one
Yeah,
on the
it
right
is.
is Rebecca.
Yeah.
And the picture of the dog in the background was on the wall of the house that we grew up in, so she held on to that.
Really?
Yeah.
I just saw that same photo in a catalog. You want me to order it for you?
Sure.
What's the name of it? I've forgotten. Lois and Big Boy. At Mama's house.
I think the name of it is Found or something like that. Because it's the dog saying, I found this here lost lamb.
Back to the Madisons. Back to the Guillerys.
Well, Bonnie, this is one of the better pictures you'll see of your great-grandmother.
My poor mama. She had such a hard life. Billy and Caraway.
Last one's at home, huh?
And that's Ellis there.
How can you tell?
With his back to us.
It just looks like it.
I just kind of remember the picture, I think. Back to the park in Pensacola. Uncle Willard and Aunt Esther. I still get Christmas cards and letters from her. We went to see her a couple summers ago.
She's still around?
Yeah,
Holy
she's
mackerel.
doing pretty well, too. He's not. This is Uncle CG.
Yeah.
And Wayne, and is that his daughter,
Yes,
Yvette?
I think so.
I think Wayne is gay. Because he wasn't allowed at the funeral when CG died. Now, this is back to my mama's house, that last Christmas. And who is that little girl back there?
Oh, that's Debbie.
Is that Debbie?
That's Buddy with the gift
Buddy,
shuttle.
Buddy with Pawpaw and Pat down in front and you behind him. Ooh, in a helicopter.
At Eglin Air Force Base.
See, that's where you got it from, Tim. We were always doing that.
Darn right.
Now, if you'll notice, I'm holding your hand, and I have a badge on, I think.
Most likely.
Does that mean you're a VIP or something?
Yeah,
You didn't have to have a badge that day.
I wrote it there.
There's Mary Helen and Francis.
And Jerry and Jim playing checkers.
Isn't that Rebecca?
No,
Nope.
that's her mother.
That's her mom.
Oh, was there, eh?
She looks just like her mother,
It's
but
just exactly like her,
they never thought that, but I always thought it was.
Oh, she looks more like her every day now.
And Jennifer looks just like her mother.
All right, who are these red people?
Amy holding
Amy. Forget Amy.
not a Carol May.
Amy's not even a twinkle in Dad's
I,
eye.
I still call Amy Carol May. And vice versa. That's Carol May holding somebody.
Jerry.
Nope, I don't
Uh,
think so anyway.
I think that's Judy on the right, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it is, and I think it's Buddy and Debbie on either side of Ferdy in the middle.
You and Buddy in the back, yeah.
I'm not in this one, am I?
That's you and Buddy sitting in the back there.
That looks like
And I
Ferdy.
think that's Debbie on
That's you.
Carol May's lap and
Can't tell
probably
with the red
Pat
hair.
on Judy's. That's what it is. Now who's the little girl back there? Would that be Debbie?
That's Debbie.
No,
Betcha.
I don't think so.
Doesn't look like Debbie.
Uh-oh. That's Laura.
Where is this?
That's out at Papa's house.
Really?
Mars.
Mm-hmm.
This house
No,
moves around, you know.
No, way out in the country. That's Laura.
Buddy picking his ear. And that is Debbie on the left
Yes,
there.
that's Debbie.
Oh, and me and Ferdy are in our handsome brown suits.
I think they were, Bob and Agnes and Bobby. Not Agnes, Sarah now. At Mama's house.
She's the one who died of lung cancer from smoking too much. Now take that to heart.
I didn't remember that that's what she died of.
Yeah.
Mama and Aunt Teen.
Ain't they sweet? Take the notepad in the back.
Aunt Jemima?
Yeah.
No.
Jim's beating Preston at checkers.
As long as we're in Momo's house and we have these two dudes here, explain to me where this house came from.
Wood.
Well, after Daddy's father died, she wanted something that was high off the ground.
Why?
She felt more secure. People couldn't look in her windows.
And there was limited access. They couldn't break in the windows.
And who
And
built it?
they rented out the family house, which is just in front of this one. And Uncle Jim built most of it. I helped a lot while Daddy was in the Army. Frances saw me out there pounding in subflooring and stuff, and she tried it and she couldn't hack it. She told me that. I helped hang those windows that were there. That's Jerry's family. Oh, Jerry Jr., look at him. He's got a kid now,
Yeah?
finally. Lynn and Diane there.
Hey, Dad, I'm glad you brought the flash along for this.
Yeah.
The little girl in the
Shows
middle
up
died
in
of
the middle,
alcoholism, Dick,
Oh, no one cares.
at age 40.
It's for a girl.
Oh, there. And the other one, her husband shot her. You heard that story, I think. I don't know. And she's in a wheelchair now.
Who's in the black and white photo in the lower right?
I don't
Any
really-
idea?
I can't tell.
I think it's two boys.
Might be you, I don't know.
It wouldn't be me.
I think
Probably
it-
some of
I
Gordon's.
think it's two of Gordon's kids.
Okay.
There we are.
At Eglin Air Force Base. At a
It looks like Tim and Terry.
So do.
Oh, stick horses. This is on Ferry Avenue.
Get out of the street.
Look at that. Look at Fellows Rambler
put us
there.
there.
Tim.
Yeah, what a neat car.
Ha 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 ha.
Whose car are those guys?
I don't know, but they're cute.
Pat and Terry.
Why is Terry in the flower bed, Mom?
I don't know. That's a mimosa tree. Aren't they cute?
Guess my horse wants to
Three
go to the right.
Three musketeers. See your thongs, Tim?
Yeah. I lived in them things.
They're terrible for your feet.
So why'd you give them to us?
I don't know.
Didn't have to worry about the sand so much.
Maybe.
Pat's
Swing
got
set
his
back
hands
there.
on his hips. Pants were a little long. Oh, that's
It's
my
the
favorite.
classic.
My very favorite picture. I had to force them to sit there to take their picture, but
Only
look,
one that shows the true us.
isn't that pathetic? Oh, just adorable. I love it. Oh, that's Tim and is there anybody in the wagon? It would be
There's a
Paul.
cat back there.
Yeah, and you got ringworm from him too. Wasn't our cat. That's Momo.
Is that her car?
That's in the yard. No, that's Richard Dick's car.
Ah.
That's in the yard on Ferry Avenue. See, there's Richard. Down to the beach.
Tin ships. Neat.
Where is that?
Um,
That's
It's
looking.
Ferry Avenue.
I
You
think it's
see
Ferry
the
Avenue.
heater in the
Yeah.
background.
Yeah.
Yeah, the picture windows to the left over there.
And you notice the rocking chair in the foreground there is, we still have it up in the living room. Dorothy's mother gave it to her.
Neat. And you can see neat prices of groceries.
Well, where?
9 cents for something.
Oh, take it back. Take it back. That's on the patio on Ferry Avenue.
What neat chairs.
Actually, they're bright blue.
Ooh, I got a WKRG t-shirt on.
Oh,
Cool.
Channel 5 and Mobile.
A rock.
That's Stone Mountain, Georgia. Come on, let's go back to Stone Mountain.
Okay, here we are. Does that thrill you?
Well, I mean, with another picture, see, I want to see more of it.
Guy I work with did a big laser show there. That's a good shot of Homer.
That's right neat, isn't
He
it?
looks like Beaver.
Remember when we got the couch, we got tickets to go to see Liberace?
Huh? Oh, is that how that happened?
Uh-huh. You buy, for every $50 worth of furniture you buy, you get a ticket to see Liberace.
Cool.
And we paid $150 for that set of couches there. And you got to go, and Pat got mad because he couldn't go.
Well, I don't blame him.
The lamp there was a wedding present from the people Daddy worked with. They wanted to give him a coffee pot, and then they found out he didn't drink coffee.
Wonder what I'm doing.
It's the surf there. Susie, be still.
It's wintertime surf.
What are we doing at the beach in the winter?
Why not?
Just asking.
I have a feeling there
We've
might
been here
have.
before. Hold on a second.
Yeah, that's.
King hanger, named
Yeah.
after Martin Luther King.
Probably not.
Oh, please.
The little building to the left of it is the one I worked in.
The King Hanger was the largest building without a center support.
Golly.
And it was so neat. When they had air shows, we would go up and get on top of that hangar, and we could see the planes coming in over the bay at a low altitude and a high speed, and the wake of their the noise from going through the air would stir up the water on the bay.
Cool. Looks like a presidential motorcade to me.
Well, Kennedy came through here, and there he is. President Kennedy, and he waved to us too,
Dang.
specifically, because we were in back of the hangar where they didn't have a crowd. His hair was red. See him in the back there?
Yeah.
And that was secretary of something, the white-haired man behind him. I've forgotten who he was. That was me and Pat. Who was, oh, that's Bob Sykes. Congressman Bob Sykes. From Florida.
White House press.
He ended up getting censured by the Senate.
What do you expect from a Democrat?
Well, he took advantage of his position and bought a lot of beachfront property down there. This is Eglin Air Force Base. That's from our yard on Ferry Avenue. We used to watch bull marks go up back there, remember? Now this, I think, is Lake Pontchartrain looking east at sunset. Not west, but east. This is on that big old causeway bridge. I think that's when these are.
I think so too.
In
That's what the label says.
In Louisiana. Happy Woods Church. That's where me and Daddy met.
Golly.
This, I believe, is at Destin.
Where's Destin and why were you there?
Destin is east of Fort Walton. It's where Choctawhatchee Bay flows into the Gulf of Mexico.
And at the hump on that bridge, they could open it up to let those through. They're all bridge.
Okay, and why would you want to go there?
Well, that's the way you went to the beach or just along that highway. This is Jeff Davis's home along the Gulf Coast in Biloxi. Jefferson Davis was president of the Confederacy. The name of his home was Beauvais, I believe.
Looks like Beauvoir to me.
B-E-A-U-V-A-I-S.
V-O-I-R.
Is it?
Yep. Beauvoir.
I can't read it.
That's what they say.
I was thinking it was Beauvais. Fort Pickens again.
Again, a demonstration of the true uses of
The
artillery.
way the French pronounce their words, it might be Beauvais.
You making fun of my people?
Look at the circle in the right hand there. They had cannons mounted down in there at one time.
Oh, yeah?
Can you see the? Yeah, you can see the water there. That's probably Pensacola Bay
And where is this?
in Pensacola. It's Fort Pickens State Park again.
Different trip.
There's the aircraft carrier out there, the Antietam. They trained Navy men there. Oh, this is
Like a
in
cave.
caverns.
Florida.
That might be when we took Mama. I don't know. All I remember is one of the kids, Terry was it, said, "I want to get out of here. I want to get out of here."
No, I think it was probably me.
More like Amy.
Might have been Pat.
I don't think it
Let's
was
get
me.
out of here. That's Carol May. See the white sand?
Mhm.
That's my brother Billy. That's in Shalimar. That's my Dutch Irish sister. Back to Ferry Avenue.
Well, at least we got a good shot of it.
Yeah. It's a
The
little-
color hasn't faded too bad.
See that monkey grass along that little triangular, on the outside of the triangle to the right? Had a little nest of pygmy rattlers in there one year. I sprayed them with isotox.
They didn't like it.
It killed them.
Good.
Grand Canyon, huh?
You want to go sit down here?
Here, hold it. Would you like that? Well, you get this chair. Let Bonnie. She's tired of this, isn't she? like to look at pictures, I do. Grand Canyon, I give Arizona credit for that, but not much else. There, see, I'm holding those little boys. They go peeking out under there, and it's about 200 feet down.
200. Isn't it a mile down? think it's a
I don't
mile
know.
down.
It was awful scary. and
Anyway, she was afraid to fall over.
These
Y'all would
active
fall
little
over.
boys that go hanging out there, no fear at all.
Maybe
So-
you should have let us go, Mom.
So I grabbed their hands real tight and pulled them over and said, "You're going to sit on this bench with me." There's the river.
And of course, the temperature was something over 102.
No, it wasn't that hot there, was it?
Yeah, it was.
I remember at the Painted Desert, Petrified Forest or whatever. Some mule tracks going down.
Here's the petrified forest. Looks like a pile of rocks.
Oh, just horrible.
That's a tree.
I was so disenchanted with that. I said, let's get out of here.
That was a petrified tree, and they had to.
This is the Painted
reinforce it with
Desert,
a
I think.
concrete pillar underneath.
It ain't what it's cracked up to be. That to me is typical Arizona.
Your turn.
That's on the way. No, I thought it was on the way to the meteor crater, but it says Tombstone.
Well, we got to go back right that way, Mom, so you don't have to tell us about it.
No, you're not going to Tombstone.
No. But by the meteor crater, we
Yes,
go right
like
by that.
That's the OK Corral. Look at there.
Yeah, sure.
It's in Tombstone too. It's a cemetery at Tombstone.
That was a cute saying.
All right. Here lies.
Less, more. Something like no more, no less.
Something killed with a 44. No less, no
Oh,
more.
here lies Lester Moore, 4 slugs from a 44, no less, no more.
Okay. I can't read that, Tim.
I guess that was Boot Hill. Huh?
Oh, this is at Bisbee, the copper mine.
The lavender mine?
Something like that, yeah. Oh my, this is George Washington's tomb. George and Martha.
Yeah. I
And
recognize
who
them.
put the flowers in it?
This is at Mount Vernon.
Mm-hmm.
And show every rock?
No. Indonesia, Sukarno was there the day before. Now this is the garden at Mount Vernon, I believe.
We didn't go in there.
Yeah, we did.
Did we?
It's a lot taller now.
Maybe that's
The
why I
little
don't recognize
schoolhouse
it.
in the corner of there. I like Mount Vernon.
Yeah, I did too.
Miss Dorothy at George's place.
Looking out over the river.
Gotcha.
That must have been in Arizona, but what's this?
I don't know.
Smoky Mountains. I
More
think.
Colorado.
This is
No.
where we came in.
I think it's the Smoky Mountains, or
Intermission time.
Different suit.
you mean I have more than one?
I don't know.
89 Pine Avenue?
I think that was your wedding suit there.
I get it. It's for me.
That was more.
So we lived at 89 Pine Avenue?
Uh-huh.
Does that mean we were 2 blocks away from Beaver's house?
Must have been. Oh, there's Teddy, look. That was my dog. I had on blue jeans. I didn't know I owned any at that time. I believe that's Billy in the background. Oh,
A swimsuit.
Woo!
that's Terry.
Basket full of Morty.
That's a beach chair in the background, but I thought it was kind of neat. Oh, wow!
Let's tilt up to find this one. Ooh, boy, what a mug.
Doesn't look too happy there.
No, sun's in his eyes for one thing.
He kind of looks the same way when he plays his saxophone.
Oh, look at that one! How cute! He didn't have any teeth. Look at that. I don't think he was sitting up. I think he was just propped.
He looks like your mother in that shot, Mama.
Yeah, he looks more like the Gilry side. Really, I think. Oh! Even then, I had pansies. Look.
Yep.
Yeah,
The
pansies
foreground or the
everywhere you go.
background?
That's Pat. Now that was at Shalimar with Terry. This is Pat back on Pine Avenue. Oh, getting
Handsome
ready for
lad.
Sunday
How
school.
cute.
This is about the time Terry was born, I believe.
You were so handsome, sweetie.
Aren't
Once.
they cute kids? The kudzu vine is just coming up for the spring there.
What do you suppose Ferdy has in his hand? It's
Bible?
a piece of paper of some sort.
Yeah. I have no idea. Aren't they sweet? Oh, there's Terry. He had been born. This is the same day.
Dad looks like Ferdy. Very much.
Pretty good looking, huh? That's Terry. Look at him. Happy little old kid.
You still have to know.
There he is, back in the basket.
He's a basket case. Thank you, Jake. Somebody's got to laugh at these.
He ain't used to them.
Thanks, Bud. Thanks for the vote of confidence.
Anytime.
That's Terry too again. Tim and Pat.
We're plotting what to do about this little kid brother we're gonna get.
Actually, Pat's so new there. It's a while before the other one came.
There's a difference between Kodachrome and Ektachrome.
These are pretty good, aren't they? The others are not. Oh, that's
Excuse me, but what abode is this?
That's Shalimar.
Okay.
That's where the kudzu vine grew in eventually.
Right there?
Uh-huh, right where you're standing there.
Groovy tie.
This is Denny and Dennis and Eleanor and Judy. And I believe,
Have you seen Denny recently, Maureen?
No.
Oh, well, he's a lot skinnier now. He's a chunk here.
yeah, I believe this is where they lived in Downey.
Yeah.
Denny was 15 at the time. And Eleanor had just had her surgery. There's my mama. And I think that's Terry Loyce's holding in the background.
I wouldn't be at all surprised.
Although I thought you were 6 when you had the measles.
I don't know. Seems like that's right.
But he was a lot less than 6 in the last picture.
There they are again.
We're jumping back and forth
Yeah.
between Louisiana and
This
California.
this is back to Downey. And this is Richard Dick and his first wife, Martha Burnett.
Yeah, that's at the parsonage.
That's at the parsonage, the back of the old Happy Woods Church back there.
Cool. I didn't know we had a shot of that.
There's Mama.
I have good news.
What?
Diana's moving her left leg a little bit.
Oh, wonderful.
Cool!
She says her right one just a little bit on occasion, but the left one pretty consistently.
Oh, she's gonna get on her feet one of these
That's
days.
wonderful.
They called you to tell you that?
Yeah.
Praise
Isn't
the
that
Lord.
neat? There's me and Mama and Terry. And that's Debbie down there, Pat, Buddy, and Tim.
It is Terry after all.
Yeah.
Well,
No
we
Pearl.
got better shots of my grandma than I thought.
Yeah, that's a good.
Don't you think I look a lot like her?
Well, yes.
Buddy and Debbie. On a Thunderbird at Eglin, I believe.
Man, you must have been a VIP. They don't let you get anywhere near them things
You
today.
could do it in those days.
After all, we paid for them, right?
We used to could go out and see the planes off here in Colorado Springs too. Back to,
That was back when they trusted everybody.
Yeah. Before
That's-
government was Big Brother.
that's Pat in the backyard at Shalimar.
Oh,
This is the first picture Tim ever took.
this is an historic photograph, ladies and germs. There's my
The
mom.
very
somewhere in
first
there.
picture he ever took.
And he didn't stop.
Wow, history in the making here.
I was great at special effects even then. This is what I call shaky cam.
And this is
It
the
was-
house on
It was
Ferry
decades
Avenue.
ahead of its time. Now they use this technique in every single commercial.
Oh, there's Tim. Eating a biscuit or something. That's on Pine Avenue. The other one was
Cool.
on Ferry, that other one.
Funny, I kind of look a lot like that now.
You were a
Feet in
cute
my
little
face.
booger.
Yeah, whatever happened.
Some Easter flowers.
You grew hair on your face.
Yeah. that's
Look
probably
at the
it.
toes out of those sleepers. That's at Shalimar.
Furniture's about the same.
That's Pat. Look, his little cheeks are fat.
Nice Adolf Hitler hairdo.
That's on Merle Circle. Well, I cut it. Look at this one.
Woo!
This is in Shalimar. I painted that sign.
Is that the house that we lived in, or that's the one next
No,
door?
that's Miss Respis's house next door
Okay.
to us. Oh, look at Pat's curls.
Looks like I got gas.
Nice sandals.
When Pat was 9 months old, I cut his hair, and it just curled up. And then, I think 9 months later, I cut it, and it went straight again. Look at Tim across. Look at the
Homer
foot
of
tracks.
Arabia.
Look at the foot tracks in the back, behind him, on the beach. Terry's first haircut.
Cute.
He was what, 7 months old? I think so. Yeah.
What is that he's sitting in?
The stroller,
Why does it have only one hole?
huh?
Why
They
does it
stole it
only have
from
one
Save On.
shaft?
That's the way it was made. It had a T handle on it.
Really?
Uh-huh.
Cool.
We've seen it in the other pictures. Isn't that cute?
Yeah, Tim and his dad looking at dirt out over the horizon.
And I very artfully put a multicolored ball in the foreground. See there?
Did you really?
Yeah.
Cool.
Oh, I love this one. That's my Pedro
That is
poncho.
cute.
Isn't that adorable? In the sandbox.
And finally garbage can.
That's Respis's can.
Did you ever grow? You were growing strawberries back there somewhere.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've tried all the time and
But you
never.
see that fence back there?
That's Tim. He's sweet.
We brought Dorothy's dog Teddy to live with us. And he would jump over that fence and go out and do his business and come back. We never had to clean the yard up.
He was a neat dog. There we are.
Picking
There should be some other steps. Yeah, there we are. Stages.
Ooh, it's a haircut circa 1992. Yay!
See? Tim on the big one and Pat on the little one. They got potty trained about the same time, just before Terry was born.
You mean I was that slow?
Well, not really. See, Tim, there's a stroller.
Ah,
That's Pat eating
pretty
it.
sparse compared to today's models.
Eating it. Well, that one, you just fold it over and it was flat and you could load it up and go.
Grooving.
It was neat. We got that free with our furniture. They
You got everything with your furniture, didn't you?
They said it was free.
Would you cut that out?
You guys
There we
again.
are again. Look at your sandals, Tim.
Pretty grooving. Focus this
You're
in.
actually smiling at each
Sit
other.
on the floor.
Yeah, now that's an unusual situation, ain't it?
Ooh-wee, look
All
at
smiling
that.
except for Morty.
Tigers?
Well, he was always a little rough.
Yeah, that's Hobbs.
Yeah.
Who's
Pops
that?
didn't know he had a clone.
That looks like Pat.
It sure does.
I think it is. Woo, back to Momo's. That's Diane right in the middle there.
The real skirt.
Cool.
Her mama probably made that. And that's Rebecca holding Terry.
I was wondering.
I'd like
And
to see her try
in the
it
back,
today.
I don't know who that is to the left, but that's Mike and Ruth in the background. Down in the front is Tim and it must be Benny.
She looks like Jennifer there.
And I believe Johnny over to the right. Maybe that is Jerry. No, Jerry's the same age as Tim. That one looks a little older.
Little Jerry?
Uh-huh.
No way, he's the same age as Morty.
Oh, I thought it was you.
Trust me
Well,
on this,
anyway, he
Mom.
wouldn't be bigger than you there. See, that's where the kudzu vine was planted then.
That's the kudzu vine there,
Uh-huh.
in its embryonic state,
Mm-hmm.
before it took over the universe.
Well, it would freeze down in the wintertime. That's bad.
The epitome.
Kinda
That's
looks
in
like it.
Shalimar. That's our old TV.
Our very first.
The one that Tim used to watch Liberace on.
Man. And my rocking chair, by the way.
Uh-huh. You got that for your first birthday. I finally got rid of that thing. It was in the way every time I walked around.
This photo is cool.
This one?
No,
The other
last one.
Oh,
This is just me and Ferdy playing in the cat box.
yeah. Must have been kind of cool because you got... There's a kudzu vine taking off. Ah!
Why are we wearing crossword puzzles?
Crossword puzzles?
Oh, I guess
That does sound like that way, doesn't it?
That was a pretty plaid. I liked it. That house, that's Pat. He would rock himself to sleep on that horse. That house had no air conditioning, but every bedroom had it was on a corner and you had a cross breeze through it.
Oh.
Of course, before I had Terry, I was laying on the floor.
Oh, that's the joint, huh?
Yep, that's it.
That's a good house.
It's a little breeze
I remember
where...
riding my tricycle inside that garage when it was raining out. And I also remember
I like
guys
the
with a
floor
hot rod
plan
would
with
drive by every once in a while and scare me to death because it had no muffler. And I thought the world was coming to an end.
It probably was.
We rented this house. This one old man named Meggs, M-E-I-G-S, owned a whole bunch of... Now, Miss Respis gave you all those flowers, those roses.
Now, who is this legendary Respis chick?
She's the lady that lived in the house directly behind there. She had some roses. She liked my little boys. She had 3 boys too, but they
Oh,
were
really?
grown. But they were grown at this time.
Now, there was a little Timmy in that neighborhood, wasn't there?
Uh-uh.
There was a little Timmy somewhere where we lived that lived next door and was a royal tyrant.
No, that's a little Terry. That was Terry Taubert.
No. It was like
Tim?
here. Yeah.
I don't remember that.
I remember something to do with taking a cat by the tail and swinging him around.
Oh, dear.
This is one of my all-time favorite pictures too. I just love that.
And that one.
This is the day we moved into that place on Pine Avenue. Tim was 11 months old, so he's got tape on his belly button. But he crawled around on those dirty floors, and isn't that adorable? Looks like a little orphan. Look, he got cleaned up.
And growed up. Needs a beard though.
Back to the flowers where the kudzu vine's supposed to go.
Well, those are irises, right?
Yeah, those are Dutch iris.
My mom was in love with irises, and now I work with irises.
Huh.
Only mine are made out of silicone.
Sailboat cake.
Ooh, cool.
That's where you got the tigers.
Yeah. Only 2 of them, huh? I thought there was 3.
No, I think Terry got the little plastic dolly.
Handsome lads.
That's Pat.
Is that fungus or dirt on
That's fungus. That's mildew.
Could be. What makes you think it's
Wasn't
mildew,
Daddy handsome there?
though? Yeah. How did he ever have 3 things like that.
Oh, neat.
It's Hot Rod and Homer.
That's at Momo's on her piano.
Nice look, Pat.
She always,
Looks like he's got chewing tobacco he's got to get rid of.
Tim's saying, now how was that, how did that go? Mama always kept aluminum foil. That was a flower pot with a lamp in it, you know. She always kept foil on it. I think that is so tacky. Poor little
Yeah, that's a
thing.
fold-out bed right next to it where one of us slept. I think I slept there. Uh-oh.
Woo!
Cool boat.
Yeah, Mommy made that.
Did she?
Yes, I did.
I have one of those.
Do you still have it?
Yeah.
Honest.
I did a few years ago.
I
Gosh,
put it in a box somewhere.
I remember it.
This is in Shalimar too.
What a deadly-looking swing set. Say there's another set of poles on the left-hand side, Dad.
Yeah, there is.
Okay.
Oh, they're reading. Look.
Two little scholars. Yeah, right.
Two little monsters.
Yeah, this was the age when we were both Hobbes. Or Calvin, rather.
Oh, I love that one. That's terrible. Look at that hat cocked.
She got the sandals.
That's on Ferry Avenue on the patio.
Totally cool.
Back to Shalimar. Oh, this is on Pine Avenue. See that chest back there?
Mm-hmm.
Little folks in Douglas, Arizona gave me that to put baby clothes in. It is now in Amy's room, that beautiful little dresser in there. I stripped it and we added some
Souped it
things
up.
to it.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so, I wouldn't part with
Little
it.
tree.
I love that thing.
But that's it right there. Yeah, that was our Christmas tree that year. We went out and,
What year do you suppose this is, Mom?
oh, about 56, because it's where Pat was born.
Really? Am
When
I
we
only
just-
1 year old there?
No, you were 15 months old when he was born.
Okay, that's still 1 year.
Now, I don't know if he was born yet, but that's in Shalimar.
We're pretty serious about our swinging here. A couple of swinging
Yeah.
dudes.
On the way to church again.
Is that you, Mom?
That's me.
Looks like Carol Man.
It does, doesn't it?
You sure it's not?
No, that's my dress. I made that dress. And then Rita Lukawecki copied it and made herself one. She liked the pattern.
Okay, who took this?
Probably Mr. Respis or maybe some relative that was with us.
Crossword
Billy could have been with
Neither
us.
of you guys looks like you guys.
But we are.
Must be the way the sun's hitting.
Looks like Nat Bishop's down there too.
Stomping through the nasties. Hold on. Alright. Who's this?
That's Papa and Tim.
Hmm.
Probably about the time Pat was born or just before. Because you look like you're about a year old there. I think that's when we just got out of the Army.
Probably. I'm about the right age.
Uh-huh. Pat wasn't around then.
Okay. Where's this flea bag joint?
Oh, that's in Alabama.
That's at the motel where we stayed on the way to Florida. Just after buying,
That's Tim's baby bed packed in the car there.
just after buying the '56 Chevrolet, that was all of our worldly possessions moving to the new job in Florida.
Cool.
Job I was returning to.
Yeah, going back after he'd been in the Army and nearly died with hepatitis.
Oh, you mean you was employed in Florida and then went in the Army?
Uh-huh.
I never knew that.
Well,
Yeah.
you never asked me.
We were married a year and he got drafted. Mostly because he got out of school and his
You know
father
that's
died.
against the Second Amendment? Involuntary servitude?
I know. I have always spoken of this.
Oh,
voluntary
a bunny
involuntary
cake.
servitude.
I had a cake like, my friend had a cake like that.
I don't know. I don't recognize that. There's Pat again
Greyhound.
on Pine Avenue.
Red Greyhound.
We're making ice cream there.
Yeah?
Uh-huh.
What a cool thing to do.
That's Teddy's tail in the back.
Yeah.
That's Billy.
And handsome.
Yeah, and handsome.
Is that snow on the beach?
No,
No,
it's
that's sand.
white sand.
Oh.
That's Pat when he was just a few weeks old.
Uh-oh.
Now, I think this is on the porch at Grandma's house.
I think so too.
I think on Coleman Avenue. 'Cause that doesn't look familiar to me except the picture. Yeah, Billy was there, see?
He took it. All right,
But
who
who-
took this one?
Yes!
The mystery camera person.
Oh, probably. Isn't that cute?
Tim,
We had washed
that was.
we had washed the
accident.
car.
Oh, you mean I didn't have an accident?
We had washed the car.
That's good.
See it shine up to the
Would have been
left.
embarrassing.
Speaking about embarrassing, I backed out that driveway one day and looked around, and the guy across the
They
street
buried-
backed out at the same time, and we had just missed each other. We were
Look,
parallel.
We buried Teddy there and he didn't care. Look at him.
Doesn't he remind you of Dusty?
It does.
That's why I like Dusty.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. We can't even see my mug on the video. I gotta pan over. Oh, there I am. Whose lap am I sitting on? Probably Billy's.
No, I think maybe Billy took the picture. There's that bunny. It's got 2 candles. See, now you can see the car shining. People that lived in that house across the street over there had a baby about the time Terry was born. And I went to the hospital, and when we came back, Terry was laying down on the seat of the car, and Tim says, "You didn't bring our baby." The neighbors had one, and so we had to get one too.
Oh, I see.
But that's Pat back on Pine Avenue. That's the Holy Roller Church in the background. I used to want to go throw a firecracker in there
Why?
on Sunday night. Oh, they were just obnoxious, noisy.
Really?
Yes.
Cool.
They call it charismatic now. They really were loud and noisy. There's old sweet Teddy. He was my dog when I was in my teens, and when we went away, Mama had him, and then they moved to town and didn't have a place for him, so she asked me if I wanted him, and so I took him. He was part collie. His mama's name was Ruby.
Gee, Mom, looks like you're in the family way persuasion.
I don't know, that looks like Monty's face.
No, it doesn't. I'm in my bathrobe there. I think I had already had Pat. I'm not sure.
Doesn't look like it to me.
Oh,
I bet you're expecting Morty.
Down there, the green one.
Sure does.
But I want yours.
No.
Yes.
that's Respus's house behind us.
Does it taste good, Tim?
She
I
was
don't
just
know.
a little old grandmother.
Ooh, we gotta frame this.
There's Tim with the lipstick and the bandana.
Picking his nose.
No, I think he's touching his lips.
Not quite picking his nose.
Oh, that's one of our favorites too, Tim with his teddy bear.
Remember that teddy bear, Tim?
Uh-huh.
He sure does. That's Pat there.
He's my best friend.
Thanks.
I think he's now my only friend.
That's Joe Murray.
How can you tell? There he
Well, he lives in that thing back behind there. Caught him in action. Look at
is.
that.
Gee, y'all sure took a lot of pictures of me.
Yeah, we did. You were so sweet. So cute.
How things have changed.
Also, you were the firstborn.
That's
You're
Pat.
working my legs, Ma.
See how haggard I look?
Oh, that's from having 2 boys.
From giving birth. I looked that way after Amy was born, too. Now, isn't that a neat artsy
That is.
picture? Tim and Pat on the couch. Tim's playing with that nasty cat.
Ew.
the way to Sunday school.
As usual.
That's Pat. We've seen this before.
We have? You mean we're going around a second time? We sure are.
Yes.
I don't remember seeing this.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, we saw
We
this
did.
one. Intermission.
The low temperature for the day was in Fraser, Colorado, and we wanted to know
The ice box of the nation.
what Fraser looked like. They don't brag about that anymore.
It's Ike's Vacation Land, it says here.
Uh-huh. That's what it said.
Used to go to play golf there.
Okay.
I think he just went in the summer, though. Now that was Estes Park, I think, where that wheel was.
This looks like crippled.
Uh-uh.
Late, maybe?
Continental Divide.
Palmer Pass.
Ow!
Boulder.
That's Boulder, yeah. That's Boulder, too.
Some guy.
Feeding the ground squirrels. That's probably about where we took Bonnie. She says, seen one, seen them all. I've seen mountains before.
It's a
That's
sideways.
Niagara Falls. The tower.
How did that get in there? This is Rocky Mountain National Park.
Yeah, this is up way up high on Trail Ridge Road.
I've been there.
Yeah, we wanted Bonnie to get out here too, and she wouldn't.
Are you talking about Amy?
I was
No,
saying.
I'm talking about
alright.
Bonnie this past summer.
Jeez.
What a brat.
Oh, we were playing in the snow there. That was something for us coming from Florida.
Never seen snow before.
Yeah, I just hit Tim with a snowball. Look at there. In action.
That's Terry.
And.
Yeah, he had too big of ears for Dea.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was.
See,
thought that
that's
was you.
Terry.
Okay.
Good action shot though, Dad.
And then somebody got me. That
Looks
probably
that
was
way.
Tim. And Pat's getting ready to get somebody. That's when Pat had a lot of teeth out, as I recall.
I guess so.
How many gang fights?
Piggies. I would like to have a copy of Piggies.
Well,
Well,
someday.
all of them.
When we're rich
All
and
of them,
famous.
really. Looks like Tim's got teeth out too.
Yeah, both of them.
Back to Niagara Falls.
Slowly I turned,
Step by step.
inch by inch.
That's Lake Granby, Colorado.
We sure get around.
Balance Rock.
That's in Colorado Springs.
We actually took a picture of Balance Rock.
No telling when.
Mother!
Back to Eglin, looks like, huh?
Gee, Dad, what's that orange plane?
Looks like an F-104.
Haley?
Well, maybe.
I think it's named orange because it was a drone, remotely controlled. They used it for target practice.
Pushing me.
I like it. Looks like a B-52 in the back of it. Oh,
There's
that's
Paul
Paul Harvey.
Yay, Paul
He
Harvey.
was Grand Marshal of the parade in Pensacola. Thunderbirds. Susie, be still, babe. Be still.
Tell that to my mom.
Fancy schmancy float. Mm-mm.
Oh, yeah.
We used to drive all the way over there for those parades. That was 40 miles.
I'm gonna drive that to work.
Hot dog stand.
Why is it a hot dog stand?
I'm not gonna tell.
I guess it was your mother saw it and said, "Is that a hot dog stand or something like that?" And it was
I didn't know what it was.
She was not military savvy at the time.
Well, I was newly married, never been away from Louisiana.
A
Look at-
rainbow. Probably
That's
can't see it on the
over-
video.
That's over Fellow's house there.
Yeah, but look how high we are. You must be on the roof.
Moss is.
God, You went up on the roof just to take a photo, Dad? I don't think so.
Now, isn't that an artsy picture? What does the music say?
Can't tell.
It's on the organ.
James Cagney. Cool.
That's in Pensacola.
Robert Montgomery.
Oh, he was neat. Oh, back to the drone.
Base.
What does that stand for, Dad?
I don't know.
That
Well,
looks
just
like Blue
checking.
Angels, doesn't it?
Yeah, it is Blue Angels. No, they don't have red, white, and blue smoke anymore, do they, Maureen?
No.
It's all white now.
That's Thunderbirds again. Lights.
This must be at Pensacola air shows.
No, they were stationed at Pensacola, and they would come over to
But I
Edmond.
remember we went to a air show in Pensacola where they had the Blue Angels and it's Thunderbirds and everybody else and their dogs.
You think it was? That's a bull mark, isn't it?
No, this is Eglin, but
Rent a chair.
rent a chair. Cool. What other neat signs do we see back there? Anything cool? No.
Press.
Stand viewing.
Downtown Pensacola. Back to the Air Force Base.
Some of us still think Pensacola is Mecca, Mom.
Yeah,
Ooh, art.
my mama gave me a pair of those bases. I still got them too.
What's that?
What's that, Dad?
A theodolite or something like that?
Oh, that puts it all up.
Why'd you take a picture of that?
I used to work with theodolite cameras.
I don't recognize it.
I didn't know what that was either. It's a static display. That's an F-104, I believe. And they're showing us how to put out fires.
Really?
Oh, parachutes.
You don't see that anymore.
No, not that kind.
Oh, that's beautiful, man.
That's Niagara Falls, I think, stuck in there.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Look at those three boys coming down the steps.
I
Or
only see
two,
one.
any. Well, you're already down.
I see. This was a later one, because we're older there. I look like I'm
I
probably
don't
6 or
think
7.
that's not Terry back there. That's another kid.
But that is Pat.
Yeah, that's Tim down in the front. There's Terry.
And there's Tim being a camera hog. There's Niagara Falls.
Yeah.
We do this stuff
Colorado.
all through the picture. Made of the Mist.
Yeah.
Niagara Falls.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It was a view from the Maid of the Mist,
Oh, I
Dad.
see.
I knew it. There we
Who are
are.
these people?
Two of you.
Well, that must have been-
PBS has a little interlude of close-up photography of Niagara Falls that I've seen between programs, you know.
Yeah?
Oh, it's wonderful. Just real good photography. And they have classical music in the background.
If it's the stock footage I'm thinking about, it turns out it was illegal to shoot it.
It was who?
It was illegal to shoot it. We did a commercial that had to do with Niagara Falls, and we needed some helicopter footage, and we couldn't get low enough. And
Oh.
since then, I have seen footage that was shot much lower from a helicopter, so we know they just grabbed it illegally.
Oh. Well, it sure is good, whatever I saw. We enjoyed that trip to Niagara Falls. I liked it. Preston got artsy and took a picture through one side of the binocular.
That's the end of that carousel. Golly. Double rainbow. 1123 North Mead.
Oh, Pat's graduation. I couldn't figure out.
Ugly gown. She's real dignified, so.
That's a lilac bush. That's the lilac bush in the background blooming.
Yeah, where did they get those gowns?
I think that was college. Oh, that's
Oh.
when Bryce and Pat and Daddy rebuilt the 68.
No wonder it's still going.
Yeah, this is college. UCCS.
Are them the UX colors?
I don't know. Ooh,
Happy
what's that?
birthday,
Kim, me.
Kimmy.
Oh, that's you in your graduation, I think, wasn't it?
No, not me. Antelope playing.
Oh, that's in the
Billy.
kitchen upstairs.
I don't think I've ever met that female kid.
Was that
Uncle,
Billy?
Uncle Billy's youngest.
Well, she acts just like Amy. She doesn't speak, she doesn't smile, she's brilliant.
Why is there nothing but Pat on this thing?
He was the last one at home, I think.
It's Camaro there. On the
Oh,
previous
look at
one.
him. I don't know where that was.
Well, this is Mars, but it's upside down.
Yeah, 4 of them fell out and I stuck them back in, but I couldn't tell which way to put it.
This was our trip in the summer of '89 to Mars. I wouldn't want to go there.
I think
No.
those are lunar shots that Pat got from.
No, he's in Mars.
Are they?
Yeah, they are.
That's the moon. You're right.
Balloons. Oh, back to Mars.
Still Mars.
That was turned on its side, wasn't it?
Still Mars. In space, there is no up Mars.
I mean, the picture was not straight up. It was on its side.
Yeah, Labor Day weekend, they have a big balloon race here in Colorado Springs.
Oh, yeah.
It's
Ooh,
really
look
neat.
at the sky there. They don't have just round balloons anymore. They have cows and polar bears and trucks and
Yeah.
Mickey Mouses and stuff. That was Mr. Kramer's green balloon there.
That's the one you wrote down.
Uh-huh.
Oops.
That must be Kimmy. Whoever Kimmy is. Whoever she is, she had a birthday in our
That's
living
Carol
room.
May's family there.
Yep.
Ruth on the right, and Annette in front of her, and Karsten in the back. Aw, cute. That's Air Force parachutist, yeah. They crisscross.
They make a mess in the sky, don't they?
They surely enough do.
But they're pretty good on target. They just get right down there.
That must be Bonnie.
Yeah.
Bonnie or Amy?
No, because that's Pat.
That's Bonnie.
Bonnie.
That's her outfit.
Oh,
and that's
You
Pat.
still had that crummy couch when she was a baby?
Uh-huh.
God,
It wasn't until Bonnie was maybe 3 years
that ain't
old.
no Amy.
No, that's still Bonnie.
actually, Daddy got my new couch, I think, while I was out when Tim was sick.
Okay, 4 years old then.
Evans.
Oh, wait
Yeah.
a minute, that's in this room, isn't it?
No.
Yeah.
That's my quilt.
Yeah, and then
That couch wasn't in this room, though, was it?
No, it never was in this room.
I don't think we could get it down the stairs.
That's still the old kid.
that's
oh,
the cabinet over there.
But that's the stereo cabinet over there. That's the old carpet.
That's that turquoise carpet.
Right.
Maybe these are flopped.
No.
Yeah, I think so.
So much for that.
May not be Pikes Peak either.
Looks like a bunch of Colorado yuck to me. What's that say?
Echo Lake.
Oh, that's up on Mount Evans. Oh, that's, what is it, Goliath National Park or something?
I don't know, you
That's
tell
on the
me.
way to Mount Evans.
Yeah, but I think it's Mount Goliath.
I thought they were neat trees.
Yep.
Very weathered.
Again, this was our trip to Colorado in '64 or whenever it was.
Cold up there.
I reckon.
That's a second house up on Mount Evans.
Mount Evans Trail.
There's way above timberline there. Right there.
Washington Zoo.
Bears.
I took all of these.
Yeah, I didn't even see the Washington Zoo.
I had to spend the day by myself, and so I went to the zoo
Lions, tigers, and bears.
Oh my.
and leopards. I saw Smokey the bear there too, the real one. Well, I didn't really see him. He wouldn't come out. He was in his little place sleeping. He died. He got burned in a fire down in New Mexico. I don't like pictures like this and poor animals in those stark settings.
Hey, it's a lot better now.
There's Smokey. He's
Yeah.
in there. You don't see him really.
This is so different now.
Yeah, it's really cushy.
Oh.
Did we go to the
The zoo
Washington Zoo?
resembles their
Barely.
original habitat pretty much.
We went to see the pandas, and that's it.
Yep.
Look at that, a pink flamingo.
I remember that.
That's a,
How could you?
oh,
When you
this
weren't
is
born.
a, Tim, this is a Custis Lee house at Arlington.
Oh, we've been
That's
there.
that big old pine tree.